Hello, greetings and three seashells. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report. It is Sunday, the 12th of July, 2020. Another packed week of news. Not quite the lunacy we had last week, but close. As always, the first link below, tick over the Patreon post. That's where you can find all the links I'm going to give you. In the general news bin, 6 weeks, 6 cities, 600 murders. The United States breaks out in violence all over the place. I got an idea. Let's abolish the police. Black Lives Matter Philadelphia organizer proposes 5-year plan to abolish police. Good luck. Mass resistance overwhelms Black Lives Matter protests in Los Angeles. Apparently an opposing team showed up and shut down the Black Lives Matter protest. The division goes on. Donald Trump says flying the Confederate flag is freedom of speech after lashing out at NASCAR for banning it. In latest culture war, I happen to agree with Donald Trump, but he's certainly stoking the division, is he not? Health official says Trump rally likely source of virus surge. Yeah, it wouldn't have anything to do with all of the millions of people in the streets around the United States, would it? I think they're actually talking about the Tulsa rally, which Trump himself was pissed off because not a lot of people showed up. We need to live with it. White House readies new message for nation on coronavirus. Really, we need to live with it now, Mr. President. Well, then why did we shut down everything in the first place? Do you realize the damage you caused? Oh, boy. Moving on, Dr. Fauci says America is knee-deep in the first wave of coronavirus, and the outbreak is really not good, as U.S. hits 50,000 cases a day. Well, this is old news because it's up to 60 and 70,000 now. Put a link to that. U.S. officially withdraws from the World Health Organization, right on BNO News. Couple more. She has copies of everything. The Madam Maxwell. How much you want to bet she comes up missing or suicided somehow, and the camera won't be working that day. One more in the general bin. Trump commutes longtime friend of Roger Stone. How about draining that swamp, Mr. President? Right on. I would really love everyone's opinion on that swamp drain. Over to financial news. How the major U.S. stock indexes fared on Friday. The Dow Jones gained 369 for the week. The Dow is up only 247, so the Dow continues to fluctuate in the 25-26 range. The big news this week financially was spot gold tops $1,800 for first time since 2011. Silver breaches $19, put a link to that visual hedge. Economy may be stalling out as viral outbreak worsens. Oh no, round 2. California governor orders second shutdown of restaurants and indoor businesses amid COVID-19. That for people. 1/3 of American families miss their July rent and housing payments. 10% fear they could lose their homes in the next 6 months. 1/3 of Americans missed their rent or housing payments. Wrap your mind around that. Company connected to Pelosi's husband, however, scored coronavirus bail. Well, of course they did. You silly. Boston transportation advocates push for bond bill and free buses. I remember when we went to Aspen, Colorado years ago, they had a free bus. I thought that was pretty cool. Would free mass transit make things easier on people? Your opinion. National coin shortage prompts giant supermarkets to limit cash transactions. I know everybody's talking about this coin shortage going on. What's going on? Deutsche Bank faces a $150 million fine for Jeffrey Epstein ties. And one more in the general bin. Squad members announced proposal to defund police, offer reparations for criminalization of prostitution. Better love me long time or something. Over to, where are we now? New World Order and police state news. Americans will be wearing masks for several years. Coronavirus expert says, more and more states, more and more cities. I admit myself the other day I had to put on a mask because my cat needed cat food. I had to go to the store. In St. Louis City, you can't go into a public store without wearing a mask. And when I was going to the checkout, the way they got people corralled, I honestly thought I was in the Gray State trailer. I mean, you tell me how bizarre this mask thing is. Masks now required in all indoor public spaces in Michigan. Violators face $500 fine. Meanwhile, out in Colorado, town threatens a year in jail for residents who refuse to wear a mask. A year in jail if you refuse to wear a mask. Let that sink in, people. People are refusing mandatory orders to wear a mask on flights, however. It's causing mayhem with other passengers. People are getting into fist fights. I mean, it's unbelievable, the brainwashing and the mind control psyop. Bill Gates says certificates for vaccinated will be created to help facilitate global travel. What I tell you last week. Put a link to that. Franklin accuses Fauci and Bill Gates of plotting to depopulate Earth with coronavirus. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory, you may right. Meanwhile, back here in St. Louis, the couple that pulled guns on Black Lives Matter protesters who broke into their private neighborhood have had their guns taken away when a search warrant was executed. George Soros-backed DA charges coupled with hate crime for painting over Black Lives Matter. I forget where this happened. Was that in D.C.? No, that was out in California. Put a link to that. The division. Radical Senate City Council member vows to overthrow the United States government and replace it with a socialist world. I got one more in the New World Order and Police State bin. Antifa is posting videos on social media on how to smash windshields and assault drivers who will not obey them during street protests. I'll tell the Antifa people something right now. You do that to me or anyone in my family, we're going to assume you're trying to carjack us, and you will be met with bullets, I guarantee you. Over to World War III news. Not a lot going on this week. U.S. military to stand with India in conflict with China. White House official says. Express says South China Sea. World War III alert as expert reveals most dangerous threat to U.S. and China. The South China Sea standoff. Explosions and power outages reported near Tehran. Well, if you live near Tehran, it's probably nothing new. U.S. killing of Iran general was unlawful, UN expert says. Screw the UN. Put a link to that. Chinese virologist accuses Beijing of coronavirus cover-up, flees Hong Kong. I know how they treat whistleblowers. This is in the World War III bin because it's awfully related to what's the United States going to do in response to all this. I don't know. One more in the World War III bin. Furious Kim Jong-un blew up office after dirty photos of his wife were shared. Oh no! At Rishru, not Shoronri. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news now. Looks like we've only had 6.6 in Indonesia, 6.2 in the wherever that is. I got it set for 6 points and above. Let me move it down to 5 for the past week. We've had a lot of 5-point quakes around the world. I'll put a link to this. I didn't see too much in the volcano news this week. Big news this week was Tropical Storm Faye makes landfall in New Jersey. I'll put a link to that. Heavy rainfall. Meanwhile, out west, fire burning west of Canyon City, now 40% contained. That would be Colorado. Put a link to that. Footage captures teenage Russian footballer being struck by lightning in freak accident. Yeah, if you scroll down here, they got video of it. Wow. Following fiery blast, group calls for formal FAA environmental study. SpaceX facility. Apparently things keep blowing up at SpaceX. And one more. Here's how to see Comet Neowise from anywhere this summer. Be advised, bright things in the sky. Over to strange and bizarre news. Man with knife stabs multiple passengers on NYC subway. I kill you. Put a link to that Twitter video. Black Lives Matter leader believes white people are subhuman, calls them genetic defects, begs Allah to help her not kill white folks. I'll put a link to this. Student invokes Satan to drive conservative group from campus. Okay. RT puts this out. Next up, conversion therapy. Listen to this. The new left says you are a bigot unless you have sex with every gender. What is this lunacy? Breitbart puts this out. CNN Don Lemon says the way to fix Mount Rushmore is to add Obama. Yeah, good luck with that, Don. Fans accuse Call of Duty of removing OK hand gesture deemed racist by woke mobs. I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know what they're talking about. Meanwhile, Washington and Lee professors vote to remove Lee from school name. More of that crap going on. We're renaming history. President Trump will lead America back to God according to 1983 prophecy. Really? Well, maybe he can take us all there by the vagina. His words, not mine. Motorist speeds over rainbow crosswalk in Vancouver. Police call it a hate gesture. How dare you do that to that rainbow? Western supermarkets drop coconut goods packed by slave monkeys. I am not making this up. The slave bunny packed the coconuts. Newsweek, Florida teen who contracted coronavirus dies after mother took her to a church party, then treated her with hydrochloroquine. Anything you want to say, Mr. President? The Blaze puts this out. Security guard charged with murder after shooting customer who entered store without wearing a mask. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. The lunacy continues over there. Check out Dana Ashley's latest. Kind of long, but it's a great video. We got a video of a shootout over there, the real Bill Gates in a cartoon. Make sure you check out this black NYPD officer. That's some good stuff right there. He probably will lose his job over it, though. And shout out to the guy who caught the kid jumping off the balcony. Shout out to the person who made the Joe Biden 14 minutes of Joe's melting brain. Check out my favorites, and thank you to everybody who continues to make content. You guys are doing an awesome job. I got a couple shout outs this week. Butler County Sheriff, I am not the mask police. Shout out to this sheriff. If you scroll down and read the story, he talks about it's everybody's personal preference whether they want to wear a mask or not. And he is not going to enforce the BS police state mask order. I agree with him. It is everybody's preference. Look, if you're worried about this illness going around, you want to take precautions, that's your choice. But like I've said, you don't have the right to tell me what I have to do. I prefer not to breathe my own carbon dioxide. I'll put a link to that story. Shout out to the new gun owners. Say they bought firearms because police might not reach them in time. Well, good choice. So shout out to all the new going on in America. I'll put a link to that. That's all I got for this week. If you guys like the report, please give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you think it sucked, it's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see again. Please rate. That would help me move around. You can also follow me on BitChute, Twitter, Gab, Facebook. I'll put all those links at the bottom. You can also support me on Patreon. Or if you just want to follow me over there, you can follow for free. Or directly with PayPal if you want to buy me a cup of coffee. It takes a lot to put these reports together. It's currently 2:45 in the morning. I'm going to be in editing for at least the next few hours. That's all I got. Please tell me what you think about the madness. What's going to happen in the week to come? More masks and coronavirus numbers going through the roof, and oh my God, the madness. And I think we're just one incident away from total rioting and burning down of America. Ugh, people. Summer of madness, summer of rage. You guys take care, stay safe, remain vigilant. I will see you on the next one.